The suspect in the Moore hit-and-run crash has a court date. Plus, Americans trapped on the ship full of coronavirus patients finally get back to the U.S., and why some car dealers are saying you might want to let your car get repoed. This is OU Nightly. Hi, thank you for joining us for OU Nightly. I'm Kolby Terrell.
And I'm Chloe Sparks. We begin with heartbreaking news that another student from the hit and run near Moore High School died over the weekend. Colby Crum was a senior and a member of the track and field team. He was one of 6 students hit by a man police say is suspected drunk driver while the team was on a group run. The man accused of the hit and run crash is expected in court in Norman tomorrow morning. Max Townsend already faces 2 counts of manslaughter, and prosecutors are preparing to file another charge after Crum's death. Several businesses in Moore, including DZ Comics, are holding fundraisers for the families of the students killed and injured. DZ Comics will hold a fundraiser tonight. The store owner says Colby Crum enjoyed playing the game Magic the Gathering, and tonight's tournament will be held in his honor. Other businesses are also holding fundraisers, and there are several GoFundMe accounts as well.
More than 300 American cruise ship passengers, including 14 who tested positive for the coronavirus, are being quarantined at U.S. military bases in Texas and California tonight. As they arrived on flights out of Japan, researchers in China started testing a treatment for the deadly and fast-moving virus. Addie Crawford has that and other headlines from around the world from the News Center.
Doctors are reporting some positive preliminary results. The treatment involves infusing the plasma of people who have recovered from the virus into those who are still battling the infection. So far, the infection has killed 1,770 people and infected over 70,000. The process of developing and testing new drugs can take many months and even years, but these initial results are a promising step in the right direction. On the state side, presidential candidate Michael Bloomberg faces criticism regarding previous actions. Rival Democrats running in the election have voiced their concerns about Bloomberg's involvement in the financial crisis linked to redlining and insensitive remarks. Senator Bernie Sanders accused Bloomberg of racist policies like stop and frisk, which targeted minorities. Bloomberg has apologized for his past, launching his new initiative called Mike for Black America, promoting economic justice for black voters across the country. The European Union has agreed to deploy warships to stop weapon flow into Libya. The 27 governments still have to draft a legal text for the mission. In Libya, the UN-recognized government is under attack from the forces of General Khalifa Haftar, which control most of the country. The mission will operate in the Eastern Mediterranean. This is away from the migrant smuggling routes from Libya that have caused bitter divisions in the EU. If the EU ships become a pull factor for migrants to come to Europe, the mission will end. And Chloe, Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos announced he's donating $10 billion to fight climate change.
Yes, Addie, and his donations will fund scientists, activists, and any possible effort to help the planet. In Kolby, over 4,000 Norman residents have signed a petition asking for their voices back. Lindsey Gibbs tells us more about the fight for voting rights regarding the University of North Park area. Lindsey?
Hey, good afternoon, Chloe. This petition was started by 4 OU professors in hopes of changing the Norman City Council's decision on pulling out of the University North Park's Tax Increment Finance District. The TIF sends a portion of the sales tax revenue towards further development of the area rather than the Norman City Council's general fund.
Residents in Norman want the chance to vote on the project plan involving pulling out of the Tax Increment Financial District, which was approved last winter. This type of decision is usually voted on by the citizens of Norman.
But this isn't just any old thing, and it's actually very familiar, very similar to things that we do vote on. The Norman Forward projects, big, multi-year sales tax to create quality of life projects in the city. We got to vote on that.
However, opposers say the vote should be left up to the council.
To circulate the petition, there were people that usually don't even talk to each other that were all on the same page with regard to this issue.
The signatures obtained by the OU professors allowed for a lawsuit to be placed on the Norman City Council. The lawsuit's goal? Norman's chance for democracy.
The hearing is set in the Cleveland County Courthouse next Monday at 1:30, and it will decide if Norman citizens get to vote on plans affecting the developments. Reporting from the newsroom, I'm Lindsey Gibbs. Chloe and Kolby, back to you.
Thank you. And the weather is beginning to warm up today, Kolby.
Yeah, it finally felt good enough to wear shorts outside, and Hannah Gard is going to tell us if it's going to last.
Hi. It's been a beautiful day here in Norman. Incredible, not even a cloud in the sky. And it is warm. We're sitting in the 60s. Our winds have slightly changed from the north as we're seeing a cold front moving through the state. This is a weak cold front, though. If we look at our current temperatures across the state, we're sitting in the 50s and 60s throughout most areas, even seeing 70s in places like McAllister. Now, looking at our winds, you can see most of the state now seeing northerly winds, but in the far east, you can see those southerly winds where that cold front hasn't quite moved through yet. As we go on throughout the show, Martin's going to tell you about when we'll start to cool off into this week, when we could see some showers around midweek, and when those winds will finally start to switch from the south again. Now, it's again been a beautiful day here, and we'll come back to the weather later on in the show. Kolby and Chloe, back to you.
And Chloe, another retailer is off the market as it loses its ability to compete. Already having closed many of its stores, Pier 1 is now accepting its losses and paying for it big time.
Plus, how one airline is committing to be the first ever carbon neutral airline. Up next on OU Nightly.
Fort Worth-based retailer Pier 1 is going bust. The company filed for bankruptcy today after racking up $59 million in losses. The statement says Pier 1 cut a deal with lenders to get $250 million in financing. Pier 1 was already in the process of closing hundreds of stores, but it still has about 500 locations up and running. The company is the latest retailer to fall victim to competitors like Amazon, Target, and Walmart.
And Wi-Fi satellites are sent to space? Tori King is here to let you know how those satellites help you save cash in this week's Money Matters. Tori?
This morning, Elon Musk's company SpaceX launched hundreds of internet satellites into what they call low Earth orbit. This was the 5th round of satellites sent up so far, and currently nearly 300 satellites are floating in space. All of this is part of a plan called Starlink. Starlink's goal is to bring cheap broadband services to parts of Canada and the U.S. by the end of this year, and Musk hopes this affordable high internet speed will eventually make its way around the globe, especially in rural areas that lack internet currently. And some Americans struggling to pay their car loans are getting some unorthodox advice. Just stop making payments. Typically, dealerships make more money creating financing arrangements than selling cars, so the times the borrower does get burned when the loan goes bad. Dealerships are telling customers to trade in their car in exchange for credit towards a new one, but in practice, it's a practice known as kicking the trade. Some dealerships are saying to give your old car back to lenders after you buy a new one. It's not great advice, but it is happening. And soon we should be seeing lighter and more fuel-efficient planes, says Delta Airlines. Delta announced its plan to become the first ever carbon-neutral airline. In order to make this happen, Delta is committing $1 billion towards the project. Beginning in March, the airline will focus on carbon removal, reduction, engagement with stakeholders, But the race to be the first carbon-neutral airline is no quick sprint. Delta expects it to take a while, at least 10 years to research and implement. Delta also hopes to develop new sustainable aviation fuels with this project as well. And guys, if Delta can actually accomplish this, then they will easily become my favorite airline. Back to you at the desk.
Tori, it would be great to see them go green. As the campaign season is in full swing, we watch as candidates travel around the country trying for political support, looking to persuade younger generations into voting. Thousands of students walk the sidewalks at the University of Oklahoma, but candidates still struggle to gain any young adult votes. According to Youth Service America, one reason why young people don't vote is because they feel like voting will not make a difference.
I don't really think there's like a specific reason. I think it's just like our generation just can be like lazy sometimes, and it's like people just don't really care because I guess there's like this stigma about like older people kind of have more like power on the ballots.
But don't worry, because there's still plenty of time to register to vote before the primary election deadline.
And if you're a student looking for free stuff, which I think we all are, we've got the place for you. The Gender and Equality Center has worked hard to set up a cart full of free goodies, and find out why and where up next.
And Martin Lowrimore has a look at today's weather. Martin?
The season will be warm for this time of year. How long is it going to stick around, and is it going to last? More after the break. Welcome back to OU Nightly. It has been a very warm day throughout these next few hours. We woke up this morning, we were in the 50s before 10 a.m. and it has not changed throughout the rest of the day. Here in Oklahoma City, we're sitting at 60 degrees, sitting pretty with clear skies right now. Those winds have shifted to the north because that front has made its way through into the Oklahoma City and Norman area. Dew point sitting at 51, so not very dry at all. Current temperatures, you can definitely tell where this front is right now, sitting basically right on top of Norman. It technically has passed for Oklahoma and Norman. We are seeing those north winds and those decreased temperatures. But here in the eastern part of the state, look at these temperatures, 74 in McAllister, 70 in Idabel. It is definitely a lot warmer on the eastern edge of the state, but that's soon going to change as we get to the rest of the day. Again, you could tell where the winds are with this front. North winds coming down all the way for a majority of the state. Very little south winds left in the eastern edge of the state. Again, you can also tell where this front is just by the temperature change. You have a large amount of temperature increases in the western part of the state and not so much decrease as in the eastern and the western part of the state, but it has been a very weak cold front that we are seeing right now, but it's going to make a change later down the road. Starting off tonight, 8 p.m., those clouds will taper out throughout the rest of the day. Winds will increase, which is going to affect us tomorrow, and those temperatures will also taper off about into the mid to lower 40s for tonight. Highs tomorrow are going to be looking at 50s, only 50s tomorrow, 50s and 40s throughout some parts of the state. A little bit cooler than it is for our normal time of the year, but we are going to starting to see those increasing clouds tomorrow. And looking at the past 1 week that we've had temperatures, we definitely had that very large cold front that came in late last week. We had another warm up over the weekend. Those temperatures did stabilize for the past few days. It's been very nice these past few days, but it's again going to change. This next week, the temperatures are going to taper off. And again, on the weekend, we're going to get warm up to about where we are right now. Regional forecast, we're looking at, again, a possibility of some winter precipitation, but not for here. Northwestern part of the state will be seeing some small winter precipitation. Won't make it here though, but our temperatures are going to taper out throughout the rest of the day and into Wednesday. We will get below freezing on Wednesday. Again, no winter precipitation, but on Wednesday evening, we will be seeing some of those rain showers popping its way in. Probably going to be about 40% chance of rain on Wednesday. Again, those north winds, they're going to be the strongest in the morning. Showers will be late. Sleet will be unlikely on Wednesday and into Thursday, but it's going to start warming up as we get out through the rest of the week and we get into the weekend. Mid-50s will return. The cloudy skies will hopefully go away before next work week. I'd say the start of the next work week is going to be very beautiful.
Yeah, thank you, Martin.
Thanks, Martin. Now on to the free stuff. Today marks the start of the Union Programming Board's annual Union Week, a week full of free programming for students. Today's scheduled events included the Clock Tower Cart, which offers free snacks to students, and pronoun pins and popcorn, hosted by the Gender and Equality Center. Union Week Director Kayla Gillespie says in addition to showing what a great place the Union is, this week is about promoting the organizations that call it home.
You'll see student life on the Union Week calendar. You'll see the GEC on the Union Week calendar a couple times. Diversity Athletics Council is doing a Black History Month interactive museum in the think tank.
Tomorrow's Union Week programming includes a special screening of Up in Meckham Auditorium.
Well, Chloe, now OU softball and baseball are back in the swing of things.
And Sofia Olivas is up to bat us the details.
That's exactly right, you guys. Two Sooner sports are back on the diamond, and two of my favorite footballs collide. We also have a recap of the All-Star Weekend, so don't go anywhere because sports is next and you won't want to miss it. Welcome back to OU Nightly. I'm Sofia Olivas, and let's get into sports. This weekend, women's basketball went 0 for 2 with the first loss being Ana Yunusa at the start of the K-State game this weekend. The second was in overtime, 87-85. It wasn't all bad, though. Taylor Robertson led the pack, putting up 27 points and 4 crucial three-pointers. Gabby Gregory followed close behind with 20 points at 3 from deep. Taking bronze is Maddie Williams, who scored 15 with 1 3 to top it off. And the men's team isn't in Kansas anymore. The Sooners started the game off with low energy, but by the time it reached turbo, it was too late. The number 3 Jayhawks kept up their momentum the entire game, beating Oklahoma 87-70. However, Christian Doolittle did show out with a double-double, scoring 27 points and nabbing 12 rebounds. Doolittle's performance didn't go unnoticed, though. For the third time this season, the star forward has been named Big 12 Player of the Week. To put his numbers against Kansas into perspective, Blake Griffin is the only other Sooner to put up 27 points and 12 rebounds in the Big 12 game. Now on the diamond, the 19th ranked OU baseball team bounced back in a doubleheader to win a 3-game series against Virginia. The Sooners hit the ground running in Game 2 of the series, scoring 5 runs in 5 innings. They went on to win that one 7-0. Game 3 saw both teams tied at 1 in the 6th, but a monster 2-run homer by Hardman put up the Sooners, and they never looked back. The score of that one was 5-1. In Tucson, Sooner softball found redemption against Arizona after losing their first game of the season. Taylon Snow led the Sooners at the plate, hitting 1 run and 2 RBIs. Still tied at 4 in extra innings, the Sooners scored off 2 a pop fly in 6-4, and it's how they won it. OU women's gym showed why they are ranked the first in the NCAA this weekend, posting the best score of the team of the season. The third highest score in Sooner history was compliments of Anastasia Webb, taking home the all-around for the 4th week in a row. And none other than Maggie Nichols showed why she's the best, scoring a perfect 10 on vault and on bars. And just in case we left anything out, to satisfy your Sooner sports needs, join the Sooner Sports Pad team tonight. Sam Brown is here with the preview. Sam, what do you got?
Hey Sophia, tonight is week 2 of the semester and we are packed full of spring sports action to break down for you. A couple men's tennis stars will join us in Studio D while we hit the court to catch up with a women's star. Caroline Grace will introduce us to a track star who's got Sooner Red pumping in his veins, and we'll talk about which Sooner softball stars you're going to want to keep your eyes on this season. Join us at 7:30 on Fox Sports Oklahoma, and if you missed that tonight, you can actually catch the replay here on OU TV tomorrow after the newscast. Sophia, back to you.
Thank you, Sam. And a familiar face took home a giant trophy at the NBA All-Star Game last night. Buddy Hield fired off 27 points in the final round to beat out Devin Booker and Davis Bertans. He made 7 of his last 8 shots to win the three-point contest, while Sooner counterpart Trae Young ended up placing, dead last. While the three-point contests don't seem to be his forte, it looks like half-court shots are more Trae Young's range. Watch this insane shot before the halftime to beat the buzzer. Maybe he was just trying to show up rival Luka Doncic, who hit a half-court shot in the Rising Stars game, but that's for you to decide. And 2 of my favorite sports collided, football and football. Houston Texan J.J. Watt and Chicago Red star Kalia Ohai ditched the pitch for the aisle. The 2 married this weekend, and yet all they can talk about is this video of J.J. Watt dancing and his grandmother. Take a look at this. You guys.
That's so cute.
I wish I had those moves.
Thank you, Sophia.
In Kolby, we've heard of the saying, when pigs fly.
But in this case, a horse earns its wings when we return.
I'm Tyler Deluca at the OU Nightly Update Desk. In light of the racial slur incident at Gaylord last week, the National Association of Black Journalists sent out an email earlier today announcing an event titled Words, Voices, Action. Will be held tomorrow at 6 p.m. in the Gaylord College Auditorium. All members of the Gaylord College are encouraged to attend the event. OU Nightly will keep you updated as more information comes out. Back to you in the studio.
Well, Chloe, a miniature horse took a first-class seat on his first plane ride yesterday.
He did. Fred is a mini service horse who flew by his handler's side. After months of planning, Fred's handler paid the big bucks to ensure his first flight comfort.
Now, the Department of Transportation is looking to ban certain species from flying alongside their companions, but hopefully this is the first flight of many for Fred.
And now we'll have a mini weather review from Martin.
Well, mini weather review, not a whole lot really going on for this week. The temperatures are going to be slowly decreasing throughout the rest of the day. Thursday and Friday will probably be a little chilly. You might need a jacket. But as we get into Friday and into Sunday, it's going to warm up pretty nicely. We start off on next Monday, probably going to be able to shed the jacket.
Thanks
Good
for tuning in
stuff.
to OU Nightly. We're live every weekday from Gaylord Hall on the campus of the University of Oklahoma.
We'll see you back here tomorrow night live at 4:30.
Have a great evening.
Good night.